Welcome to eAssist Growing Your Dental Business podcast. Tune in as the experts in dental business share tips and tools to grow your practice. To learn more, visit dentalbilling.com. Please welcome our next guest.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Growing Your Dental Business podcast. Today's guest is bringing a sparkle back to hygiene. She's not just a dental hygienist. She's an incredible entrepreneur, a coach, a speaker, and a fearless founder of Hygienepreneur. Whether she's helping dentists or hygienists find their voice, elevate their role, or boost production without burning out, she does it all with passion. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute and what has created so much passion in her, because she brings a lot of personality to dentistry. Welcome, Tiffany. It's so much to have you. Tiffany Wuebben is going to join us today.
Thank you, Jacquelyn. I'm so excited to be here. You're such a sweet friend. I appreciate you inviting me on.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, I'm excited to have you here. And I know we're going to have a fun conversation today. And I always love to find out a little bit more about you and what makes you passionate about dentistry.
Well, I've seen how it can change people's lives. And I mean, not just the team members, like how it changed my life, but how it changes the patients' lives. And I saw that firsthand in the very beginning when I started. And I have not lost that passion and that drive to just to have joy and deliver great care for patients and to have fun with my teammates. And it's just a really unique field to be in. Wouldn't you agree?
I totally agree. I think there's so many great people in this field, and it's not just a field to feel good. It's like we're helping people with their health. We're helping people with just from day to day, their, just the things that they're doing and their happiness level, I feel like.
Absolutely. And now we know more than ever how our oral health and systemic health, it's a bi-directional relationship. And so now we're even more, we providers are even more passionate about really serving our patients in a big way and showing up at the dental practice with, we're on fire to really take care of our patients and help our team members in everything that they do.
I agree with that. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how dentists can transform their hygiene department into one of their biggest growth drivers. I know that this is a big topic for you, Tiffany, and some of the biggest missed opportunities in a dental practice happen in the hygiene department. So how can practices turn them into practice growth strategies?
Well, it's by being hygiene hyper-focused and hygiene-driven and all eyes on hygiene. And so, with its systems, its operations, its services that it provides, really making sure to elevate the hygiene department for what it is, the growth factor, the driver, the catalyst for the big win in a practice, right? And we talk about this all the time, that 75% of all phone calls that come in are for a patient to schedule a hygiene appointment, a new patient to schedule a cleaning. And so, we've got to make sure we're putting our best foot forward when it comes to how our hygiene department operates, what strategies we have behind it, what's our mission to serve. It even has to have its own mission statement. Really, it's that valuable.
That's amazing. I love that. One thing that I know that you have created is a hospitality-driven patient experience. And so I'm curious, what does it mean to have a hospitality-driven patient experience?
So I always tell the dentist and the team members of the dental practice that we are not in the dental business. We're actually in the hospitality business who happens to provide exceptional dentistry. So when you focus on the people, when you focus on the experiences of the patients, and then of course you do this exceptional dental care, you're going to gain a patient for life. You're going to gain a customer for life. And that's what we want. We want returning people who are advocates for us, who bring their children, their grandchildren, and you've got, all the different generations coming in to see you. And that's where the magic really happens, right?
Yeah, because they love the practice. They share information about the practice. And that's how you build, and that's the practice becoming more profitable, because you
Right.
just keep continuing to add patients because of their happiness level from that hospitality driven patient experience.
Yes. And it's about serving your community. So that way tomorrow you can serve your community again, right? And provide a great place to work, provide a wonderful place for patients to come in and feel safe and nurtured and cared for. And really, as individuals, not as just patient numbers, but people that are there, and you're providing a beautiful memory for them and their families. And then we just see the practice soar just from doing that.
I love it. You give them personalized care. I would assume you remember their names. You know a little bit about their life. You kind of are interested in the things that they're doing in their life. You're not taking care of their teeth.
Well, and it's about like what I learned at the Ritz-Carlton when I was employed there, as well as at La Costa Resort and Spa in La Costa, California, was the 3 steps of service. It's like, why reinvent something? Why don't we just take what the greats are doing and just duplicate it in dentistry? And so, the 3 steps of service for the Ritz-Carlton was, you always are greeting everyone by their name with a warm welcome. The second thing is, you will always anticipate their needs, even when they don't know they need it. You're anticipating it and delivering it for them.
I love that.
And then the third thing is the really friendly farewell, always utilizing their name. So those 3 things what makes patients feel so warm and welcome, right? And acknowledged.
Yeah. Well, that sounds amazing. Like, you think about your stay at a Ritz-Carlton and what an incredible experience it is. And I wouldn't say that my experience at the dental office is always like that. So I think that's a great analogy to bring that in, that hospitality analogy.
Yes, it comes from step 1. When you have a new patient come in through your front door, that front office should stand up and greet them with a warm smile, and not just say, oh, sign in there, here's your paperwork. It's, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here with us. I'm glad you found us okay. How was your drive over? Wonderful. Well, we have you scheduled for, and you start the relationship and really paying attention to that patient, just like they were a guest in your home.
Yeah.
And then when the front office person does that and just does that warm, beautiful greeting, and then when the provider comes out to the reception area and welcomes them back, it has to be the same tone, the same level of service, the same exceptional greeting, and really give best in class service, best in class welcome. And, it makes you feel good. It just makes you feel good.
It does. Is there a trick to having team leaders that are all the same, that treat them all the same, your patients all the same?
Absolutely. It's integrated into the training and the culture and the mission statement, and what our vision is, what the doctor's vision is. And so that is established from day one. If I have a new doctor that's like, I don't know about culture, I don't know about how to bring my team in and have everyone get bought in. Well, we just start with that foundation and we write the mission statement for the practice. We make sure that it's front and center and can be seen every day. We make sure that, that we have those steps of service, that we do have that statement of the company, and that everybody realizes and recognizes what the big picture here is. It's not to do a crown or a filling or a prophy or scaling and root planing. It's to serve the patient with such an exceptional experience that they'll go tell their neighbor, and they'll continue to come back, and they'll bring their family members, and then you'll have a patient for life. And it's just beautiful. But we continue to touch upon it at every meeting. And in the break room, we've got the board back there and it's written there. And even down to making sure that we are documenting our wow moments. So we ask team members to step forward and tell me your wow moments. Let's brag about it, and maybe put a brag board in the back where where we're kind of bragging on our team members and the beautiful things that we've seen them do with these patients, and just recognizing and giving gratitude is huge for our doctors. When they do that for their team members, the team will just continue to elevate that practice when those doctors are doing that, and when our office managers are doing that, for sure.
That's wonderful. So it sounds like if the doctor is not kind of a leadership oriented doctor, it sounds like you come in, you start from square one, you create that, that mentorship and that entire collaboration between the team and the doctor, trying to build that collaboration between everyone, correct?
It's interesting because we find ourselves training our doctors how to become better leaders and better communicators, because they're so in their head with their procedures, and they're doing the most intricate work. I mean, hyper focused to make sure that they're getting their margins perfect, and that they're, when they extract the tooth, that they're doing it in the most gentle and effective way. They have a role that I couldn't understand. I mean, I'd worn every hat in the dental practice except dentist, but they have their own set of stressors, right? And so, we really do help to mentor them on how to be better leaders, how to communicate with their teams, especially with all the different personalities in a dental practice. I mean, that's not something that we're taught in dental school, right? And how to be socially aware of what's going on, and not just with their patients, because there's different patient types, but also with their team members. And so, yes, it's just a beautiful thing. And when we see that our doctors are feeling more confident in their leadership skills, then what happens is the practice just starts to become more productive, and the team becomes more secure. They trust the owner more. They get more confidence in what they're doing, and because they're getting positive feedback and recognition, and a simple thank you can go a long way, right? So it's all of that.
It's in any communication, right? I mean,
yes.
Yeah, that's great. It sounds like these dentists, they need to recognize and reward their team members. But, obviously you said if you have that brag board in the back, you're constantly, just constantly bringing it up out in the open, all the good that is happening within the practice.
It's just like when our kids went to preschool and they earned a star that day, and they came home and they said, Mom, I tied my shoes today and teacher gave me a star. I mean, I'm trying to simplify it to like what would be for a kindergartner, but we all want a star on our board, right?
Absolutely. We all do.
That little recognition, or a Starbucks card, or hey, here's $20. Go get the whole front office some Starbucks because you guys are crushing it. I mean, that goes so far, Or when I worked with a great doctor, and every day when he left, he'd walk down the aisle of the hygienist and say, "Thank you so much today. You did so great with so-and-so." It was quick, but they always knew, like, a wow moment for the day, that maybe I didn't even realize I was doing something good. But then before he left, he would say, "Hey, great job with Mrs. Smith. Really like that, you're going back and forth with her on that education for XYZ, And when they did that, the whole hygiene team just had so much pride. And he was doing it with the front and all his assistants too. So it just speaks volumes. It really does, And I know we train on operations and time management, and, we try to take away all the silent stressors and really perfect our systems and strategies, and get in there and help with our communication with our patients. But a big part of it is, really helping our leaders become better leaders, better communicators, so that way everything can just build from that.
Yeah. Before we jumped on the recording, we were talking a little bit about investing in their professional development. How does that work in a practice if a dentist is inviting their team to invest in in courses? Like you said, there's a lot of different courses out there. How do you recommend that for a dental team?
So it's kind of interesting, because it was a personal story where I would show up And at 7 a.m., I work 7 to 7, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for my doctor. And at 5:36 a.m., I knew he was done with his workout. And I would text him all these ideas on how to become hygiene driven and grow our practice. And we grew that hygiene team from 2 hygienists to 11, 2 build outs. I mean, but you know what? He embraced my ideas and he really allowed me to act like a partner in building that practice. And he would also come to me at times and say, "You're getting bored." And I'm like, am I acting bored? Like, I just was like, I held up a mirror to myself, like, okay, how is he seeing this? And oh goodness, I'm that's not good, but he said, no. I know when you need to be fed and I'm sending you, you go find a course I'm sending you because it's time for you to learn something big and great and bring it back to us. And he didn't just do that to me. He saw opportunity to elevate somebody, and he sent those 2 girls to an office in Maine to go see a practice that was doing assisted hygiene in a really great flow. And he wanted them. He sent those 2 girls. So, it's really, investing in your team. I have a lot of doctors that say, well, what if I do that and they leave? Well, the bigger picture is, what if you don't and they stay? And now you've built this practice, and you know what? It's not doing real well because you're not investing in education and mentoring and really almost acting like a big brother to your team. Like, okay, I'm going to be your big brother and I see when you need to be fed. I'm paying attention to you because you matter. And now I'm going to send you off to certain courses. So, it's powerful. It's absolutely powerful when doctors do that. And when I've seen them do that, they always get benefits from it every single time. And the patients see it too. The patients are like, oh my gosh, I'm going to the best dentist because my hygienist is so happy. And she's talking about this course she went to, and now she's able to do lasers on me. And the patients, they see good culture. They feel the vibe of the practice, right?
Yeah, that's fantastic.
And remember, patients don't, care what you do. They care why you do it.
Yeah.
That's customer. These customers, they don't care what you do. They care why you do it and what your passion is. And if you show that, then it's just going to be wonderful.
Well, you've taken your education to the next level. Now you're teaching courses. Is that correct?
Yes, I absolutely love it. I just love it. I mean, we've got the Hygienepreneur in 5, which is 2 5-minute training videos that go out to teams every single month. And I started doing that for our existing teams because of time management. And I wanted them to get engaged, and everybody's got 5 minutes. And so I recorded these courses, and then I thought to myself, gosh, they really like it. I'm getting some positive feedback. I'm just going to share it with everybody. And so now we're offering the Hygienepreneur in 5 for just $27 a month per practice.
Wow.
And so, I mean, that's nothing. And it comes automatically. I have dentists that are actually using them for their team meetings, and they do a mastermind, and they talk about that video for the week. But we do workshops and we do one-on-one. It's whatever the practice needs because everybody's different. But we'll step in and just nurture that, whatever that might be.
Well, I love that. That's such a reasonable cost for a dentist to educate their team in just small little modules of information. And I feel like when you learn in bite-sized information like that, you remember it better. You think about it throughout the day. I think that's a fantastic idea that you do that.
Well, I just, was working for my existing clients, and I'm like, I've already produced this. I'm just going to share it. And so, we have the automation set up. So that was the biggest thing, was setting up the back end. So that way everybody can get their videos. And so now we've got it all set up, and everyone's real excited about it. And I just think every doctor in America should have it. I mean, it's a no-brainer, right?
What are some of the key things that you teach in those little 5-minute courses? Can you kind of share some of that information?
So the first thing is building a mission statement for your hygiene department, getting the whole team involved as far as the assessment protocol, the perio protocol. So all providers are calibrated. That's very important. We go through communication strategies with our patients, with our team. We go over handoff. We go through, how to set up a treatment plan and all of that with the videos and scheduling strategies. I could go on. And they're all based upon the book. So, what happens is our teams have the book and then they can see, oh, this is what she's probably going to talk about next. And so, but they meet twice a week for like about 5 minutes. But I did put some on YouTube so people can see what they're about. And so my YouTube channel is the Hygienepreneur. And so they can get a little taste of it for sure. But it's everything. It's packed with all the information to build a thriving hygiene department and a really successful hygiene practice within a practice.
I love that. And your book is also called The Hygienepreneur.
Yes, called Hygienepreneur. Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yes.
It makes sense to make it go hand in hand because then they have something to refer back to. They can look in that chapter and learn and just reinforce what they're learning from those little tidbit videos.
Yes. And it also comes with 1 month of group coaching where I have an open office session where everybody jumps on and they bring their wow stories. They bring their burning questions and it's like a little community and it's wonderful. So we have that open once a month and everybody jumps in and shares and it's really engaging and fun, which is important, right? We want to make sure it's really a good time for everyone as they're learning.
Make learning fun. I love that. That sounds great. So is there anything you can think about that we haven't talked about today that you would love to share with our listeners?
Absolutely. So culture is the foundation of every single successful business beyond dentistry, hospitality, hotels. Gosh, you go into chiropractors, eye doctors, whatever it may be. It's all about culture that drives a business to be more productive, more positive, reduce burnout for the team members and the owners. And so my friend and I co-authored Culture Catalyst.
Nice.
Marnie Blythe is brilliant. And the two of us put together a whole learning management program based upon building culture, positive culture in a practice. And so we've got video training that goes out through a really smart learning management system that has gamification and leaderboards and all of that. And in the book and in the courses, we highlight emotional intelligence, wellness, communication, and leadership. And so it's just, you focus on those 4 things and you really grow in those 4 areas and we share the ways to do that. And then what happens? You've got a positive culture in your business and now your team members want to stay. You attract and retain more team. You're of course more productive and the owner is happier in the end for sure. So that is just an awesome thing too. And we're just so excited about it. I'm just so excited about this book.
Well, you've worked hard on that book and you've worked hard on all of the things that you've put together in helping teams build a better culture, dentists build a better culture, and the patients have got to be happier too once they come into this culture happy environment.
Yes. And for just culture training, we have a website. It's culturecatalystbook.com where people can go on and see what we have going on there. And then, of course, for all the hygiene training where we do incorporate culture and even total practice management, because I do that too, it's the hygienepreneur.com. There's so many wonderful things that we can do together to really help to elevate a team's experience and the owner's experience and keep people having more joy in what they do, right? And delivering that joy every day.
I love that. Thank you so much, Tiffany. How's the best way to get a hold of you? It sounds like you've got a couple of places between your Catalyst book and your Hygienepreneur.
Yeah. So my email address is tiffany@thehygienepreneur.com. And you can go on the website, thehygienepreneur.com, for dental practice management, hygiene department management or workshops or training. And then if a business is just wanting culture training, then it's culturecatalyst.book.com, where we have all of the resources there. And we worked really, really hard to get that set up. And we're pretty proud of it. So, we want everybody to experience that and having that beautiful culture every day and positivity and joy. And that's what combats burnout, right? And fatigue. So
we didn't even talk about that. That could be a whole separate podcast right there.
Yes, for medical and dental. I mean, it's, we're shorthanded, we're overworked, we're wearing many hats. And so we've got to really look at our wellness. We've got to look at, all of that. And it's important for us to, be able to enjoy ourselves at work and then also come home and enjoy ourselves. And that's a real passion of ours for sure.
Well, I love it. Well, I know that you were wanting to give away a couple of books today as part of our podcast. What do people need to do to get access to a book?
So they can email me at tiffany@hygienepreneur.com, or Jacquelyn, I'm going to give you the links to put on the show notes. So that way it's always there and they can just download it and it's there. And if anybody is like my husband who has to have a physical one to read, then both books are on Amazon. So, okay. Yes.
That sounds fantastic. I love that. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I hope we've talked about a lot of different things today. We've talked about the hygiene department. We've talked about team culture, leadership, some of the things that Tiffany can help you with as a dentist, with your team. And I think she is very well versed in all of those subjects. So she would be a great advocate for you in whatever it is you're looking for in your practice. This podcast is sponsored by eAssist Dental Solutions. They are the leading national dental billing service, and they helping practices collect what's 100% rightfully owed to them from those insurance companies. And I just want to thank Tiffany again for coming today and joining in this podcast. Thank you, Tiffany.
I appreciate you so much and your friendship and support, and you're so sweet. It's always such a good time talking to you, and so easy and just beautiful. So thank you for all that you're doing to elevate dentistry and to help dental professionals out there. Really appreciate you.
Oh, well, I appreciate you for joining me. And everyone, have a great rest of your day. And until next time, happy dentistry, right?
Absolutely.
All right. We'll see ya.
Bye.
The purpose of this podcast is to interview the consultants within our eAssist Consultant Network. This podcast is for informational purposes only. For more details, please visit the homepage of this podcast platform at dentalbilling.com. Thanks for listening.